What's going on, guys? In this video, I'm going to show you how to perform a multi-stage build with Docker for a Next.js application. With multi-stage builds, we can use multiple from statements in our Dockerfile, and each from instruction can use a different base image to set up a new stage of the build. We can copy artifacts from one stage to another, just keeping the assets we want in the final image. By following this approach, we get as a result smaller and optimized Docker images with a significant reduction in complexity. This video is part of a Next.js playlist. I'm going to leave a link to that playlist here. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel, and let's get to it. This is our Next.js application. First, let's build a Docker image without using multi-staging, and then let's use multi-staging and compare the size of both images. So first, I'm going to create a Dockerfile. As a base image, I'm going to use current Alpine that includes Alpine Linux plus Node.js. So this is from, and this is Node, current Alpine. I'm going to set the current directory for the build, work there, and it will be /app. I'm going to set the node environment variable for production, and node env equals to production. And I'm going to copy package.json and package.lock.json. So this is copy. The source will be package.json. And the destination will be the directory that is app. Now I'm going to run npm install. And once we have all the dependencies, I'm going to copy all the file and dependencies to the app folder of the container. Copy. The source will be the local directory, and the destination will be /app. Now I'm going to build the Next.js application. Run npm run build. I'm going to expose the default port for Next.js, that is the port 3000. This is expose 3000. And now I'm going to set the command that is going to run when we start the Docker container. cmd, and this is npm start. Okay, now let's build our image. And this is Docker build -t. Let's call it Next.js app. Let's add a tag. Let's say latest. And let's use the current directory to process this Docker file that we already created here. Let's run this. And it's going to run all the steps defined in our Docker file. Now it's running the npm install from line 9 here. It's going to copy all the files to the app folder. It's going to run npm run build. This is line 13 of the Docker file. Okay, the build of the Next.js application is ready. Here we have the execution of the last two instructions, expose the port 3000 and the command that is going to run when we start the container. So let's do that. Let's start the container. Docker run, let's map the ports, 3000, 3000, and this is Next.js app, latest. Let's run this. Okay, and now let's open the link, and this should show us the application. And as we can see here, our application is up and running. Let's go back. Let's stop the server and let's take a look at the images. So if I run Docker images, here we're going to see the size of this image that we built is 242 megabytes. I'm going to copy this and I'm going to keep it here so we can compare that with the multi-stage image that we are going to build now. Image size 242 megabytes. Okay, I'm going to rename this file, let's say .old, and I'm going to create a new Dockerfile where we are going to set the multi-stage Dockerfile. So this is Dockerfile. I'm going to close this. First, I'm going to set the base stage where I'm going to install all the dependencies of our Next.js application. So I'm going to use current Alpine as the base image. This is node current Alpine. And I'm going to tag this stage as base. Okay, work there. This will be /app. And I'm going to copy the package.json from the local directory. So this is copy package.json. Now I'm going to install the dependencies. So this is run npm install. And once we have all the dependencies, I'm going to copy all the files from the current directory to the image file system. So this is copy period. And that's it for the first stage of the build. Okay, now I'm going to add a build stage, and I'm going to use this stage as the base. So from base, and this is what I'm using here. I'm going to name this second stage as build. Here I'm going to set the node env variable as production. So this is env, this is node env equals to production. Now I'm going to set the build directory as the working directory. This is work dir, and this is build. Now I'm going to copy some assets from the base image. So this is -- from, and the stage in this case is base. And I'm going to copy the app directory from that stage. And now I'm going to run npm build. Run npm run build. And that's it for the second stage, that is the build stage. Okay, and finally we're going to have a third stage that will be the final image that is going to include just some artifacts from this build directory. Those artifacts will be generated when this instruction is executed, npm run build. And here I'm going to use an current Alpine image. So this is node current Alpine. And I'm going to name this stage as production. I'm going to set the node env environment variable to production. And I'm going to use app as the work dir. And now I'm going to copy some artifacts from the build stage. So this is copy, this is from, and this is build. So from the build, I'm going to copy some files to the image file system. First, I'm going to copy the package.json and the package lock.json. So this is /build /package.json. And I'm going to also copy from the build stage the .next folder. And I'm going to copy the public folder. This is public, and this is public. Okay, and in addition to that, I need to install Next in this new stage. So this is run npm install Next. And finally, we need to expose the default port for Next.js. This is expose 3000. And finally, we need to specify what is the command that is going to run when we start the container. So this is cmd. And this is npm run start. Okay, let's build the image. Okay, first let's remove all existing images. So let's run docker system prune -a. I'm going to confirm this, and this is going to remove all images and containers. So let's double check. We don't have any containers running, and we don't have any images. Okay, let's clear this, and now let's build our image using our multi-stage Dockerfile. This is docker build -t. This is Next.js app. The tag will be latest. I'm going to run this, and first it's going to start with the first stage. That is this one, where it's going to install all the dependencies. Now it's installing all the dependencies of our Next.js application. Now it's going to run the second stage, that is the build stage, and it's going to run the build command, as we can see here. Okay, the build is ready, and now it's going to run the third stage, that is the production stage, where we are just copying some specific artifacts from the previous stage, that is the build stage. Now is installing Next so that we can run it here. Okay, and finally it's going to set the default port for Next.js, that is the port 3000, and it's going to set the command that will be run once we start the container. Okay, let's clear this, and let's start the container using the image that we just built. So this is docker run -p 3000 for the local port and the remote port, or the container port, and the name of the image, that is latest. Let's run this. Let's open the browser following the link. And as we can see here, our application is up and running. And finally, if we compare the image size of the image that we built using the multi-stage approach, this image size is 221, and the image that we built without using a multi-stage approach, the size is 242. So the image that we built using the multi-stage approach is a bit smaller than the previous one. That's all I have for today. Thank you guys for watching, and I see you in the next one. Take care. Bye.